In a moment that stopped the clock for space enthusiasts around the world, SpaceX's Starship Flight 10 hardware roared to life during a flawless 6-engine static fire test. The raw force, the scale, the precision, it wasn't just another test, it was a signal. SpaceX isn't slowing down. They're charging ahead, full throttle. Elon Musk's bold promise to accelerate progress has found its most dramatic proof yet. Booster 16's hot staging ring has already been rolled into Mega Bay 1, the Starlink loader box is now in Mega Bay 2, and most importantly, Musk has just confirmed the official launch window for Starship Flight 10. We're not talking distant future here, we're talking mid-August. That's right. The most advanced spacecraft ever built is nearly ready to fly. This isn't just another launch. This is history in motion. Every frame of every test tells the story of how far SpaceX has come and where they're going next. As Elon Musk once said, speed is both offense and defense. And right now, SpaceX is wielding it like a weapon. Competitors like Blue Origin, ULA, and Boeing aren't just watching, they're scrambling to keep pace. Starbase, Texas has become the heartbeat of a new space race. And it's thumping louder than ever. On July 31st, SpaceX fired up one of Ship 37's 3 sea-level Raptor engines for a quick static fire. The engine blazed with intensity for 8 full seconds. A warm-up, a systems check, a signal that the final test was coming. This was followed, just a day later, by a post from Elon Musk himself, confirming the static fire and subtly revealing that launch was now slated for mid-August. That slight delay? Likely due to a range violation detected during a fueling operation, SpaceX had to abort to maintain safety protocols. It was a necessary pause. Safety comes first, and ignoring it could have had legal consequences. To avoid that issue repeating, SpaceX mobilized security trucks around the test pad to ensure the area was clear. Everything about the next test screamed readiness. Roads closed, tanks active, cryogenics loaded, engines chilled, flaps tested. And then it happened. At exactly 4:31 p.m., massive plumes erupted from the deluge system. Seconds later, all 6 Raptor engines fired in perfect unison. The noise was deafening. The ground shook. The test lasted around 15 seconds. And when the smoke cleared, Ship 37 was still standing tall. No explosions. No leaks. No system failures. Just raw, engineered perfection. But the journey doesn't end with a static fire. Ship 37 now awaits rollback to Mega Bay 2 for final preparations. That includes completing its heat shield. Yes, it's still missing some tiles. The team will likely also test new metallic heat shield panels, a major innovation aimed at improving reusability and resistance. Previous flights have included these experimental tiles, but because those vehicles didn't survive long enough, we still don't know how effective they are. This flight could give us answers. Also in the pipeline, installation of dummy Starlink satellites to simulate payload deployment, and testing of the PZ door mechanism. That's why the Starlink loader box has already been moved into Mega Bay 2. SpaceX is squeezing every ounce of productivity from every hour. Even before Ship 37 rolls back, the loader is already in place, ready to move. There are more steps to go though. SpaceX needs to remove the orbital launch mount stool adapter, strip the SQD piping, patch the BQD holes, reattach clamps, and restore the mount to its pre-test state. This work takes time, 1 to 2 weeks minimum. Only then can the full stack, Booster 16 and Ship 37, be assembled and readied for final flight tests. Flight 10 is more than a mission. It's a proving ground. A test of engineering, perseverance, and the vision of pushing humanity beyond Earth. This Starship will fly with the weight of dreams behind it. From Mars colonization to lunar landings, the ambitions are no longer theoretical. They're welded into steel and fueled by liquid methane. The world is watching. The test footage has already gone viral, the news has triggered headlines across major outlets, and anticipation is rising to a fever pitch. But here's the deeper story: this isn't about rockets alone. It's about redefining what's possible. SpaceX is teaching us all a lesson in how to dream big and execute fast. Their rapid iteration approach, their tolerance for failure, and their relentless focus on innovation have allowed them to do what few thought possible: dominate the commercial space sector while pushing boundaries that even government agencies struggled with. This isn't just Musk's dream. It's become a global movement. Young engineers, aerospace students, creators, and dreamers from across the world are drawing inspiration from what SpaceX is building. They see the engines fire, the launch towers rise, the ships soar, and they believe that maybe, just maybe, there's a place for them in this new space age. And let's be real, this kind of momentum is rare. Space history is littered with delays, cancellations, budget overruns, and political red tape. What SpaceX is doing, launching, testing, iterating at a pace never seen before, is rewriting the playbook. So what can we expect next? Once the final pre-launch checks are completed, the FAA will issue the final green light. The countdown will begin. The world will hold its breath. And then, with a roar that echoes through time, Starship Flight 10 will lift off. So here's your call to action. If you're as hyped about the future of spaceflight as we are, don't just watch from the sidelines. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button. Drop a comment with your thoughts about the launch, the timeline, or your hopes for what SpaceX will accomplish next. Let's build a community around inspiration, science, and progress. SpaceX is moving fast, and we're here to keep pace, bringing you every test, every update, and every moment that makes history. Stick with us, because the journey to the stars isn't just for astronauts anymore. It's for all of us. Drop a "Go SpaceX" in the comments to show your support, and let's get ready to witness the incredible moment of Starship Flight 10 together. Now, what about Ship 38? Well, after wrapping up its cryo test, SpaceX quickly rolled it back to Mega Bay 2 around 1 a.m. on August 1st. That's not just fast, it's record-setting. The moment the tanking and cryo data were verified, they didn't wait around. Next up, the team's installing the Raptor engines and finishing off the heat shield tiles, most likely early next week. Because right now, SpaceX isn't just moving, they're sprinting. And here's the kicker. Ship 38 is the final Block 2 Starship to be tested at the Massey test site. It marks the end of an era. And like any final chapter, there's something bittersweet about it. But above all, it's exciting. Because what comes after Ship 38 is Ship 39, the very first Block 3 Starship. A completely new version that's expected to transform everything we know about deep space transportation. But we'll come back to that. First, let's zoom in on the main event, Starship Flight 10. You might think, it's just another flight test. But no, it's far more than that. This one is critical. And that's exactly why SpaceX spent an entire month refurbishing Pad A, doing everything from resurfacing the deluge system to upgrading tank farm operations. After explosive upper stage failures on Flight 7, 8, and 9, SpaceX took hits, not just physically but also publicly. Investor confidence took a dip. NASA expressed concern. And competitors? They were smirking. But Flight 10? It's SpaceX's way of saying, we're still here. We're smarter. We're stronger. And we're not slowing down. A successful Flight 10 proves that lessons were learned. Not just patched, but understood, reworked, and integrated into smarter systems. If this mission goes as planned, it could reset the narrative, showing the world that SpaceX is resilient, methodical, and ready to launch the next generation of human exploration. And let's not forget the long game. SpaceX COO Gwynne Shotwell said it best at the 31st Barron Investment Conference back in November 2024. She predicted Starship could hit 400 launches within just 4 years. That's the same number of launches that Falcon 9 took 14 years to reach. Think about that, 14 years of Falcon 9 success, compressed into 4 years with Starship. That's the scale of acceleration SpaceX is aiming for. And the reason is simple, full reusability. Starship isn't just a rocket. It's a logistics platform. It's capable of hauling 100 to 150 metric tons into low Earth orbit. That's about 5 times what Falcon 9 can carry in its reusable configuration. And while Falcon 9 launch costs hover around $15 million, Starship is aiming for $2 to $3 million per launch. That's an 80% drop in cost, and that changes the economics of everything from broadband satellite constellations to deep space missions. Take Starlink, for example. SpaceX is planning to launch its next-generation Starlink satellites aboard Starship as early as 2026. Not only will that cut deployment costs dramatically, it'll allow much larger batches of satellites, possibly hundreds at once, to be launched in a single flight. And here's where it gets even more game-changing. Earlier this year, in May, SpaceX hit a huge milestone. Starbase officially became a city. That's right, Elon Musk's long-term dream of a self-governing spaceport community is now real. Starbase now has the authority to manage everything from planning and construction to roads, utilities, even schools and healthcare. They no longer have to go through Cameron County for every beach closure or road shutdown. Instead of waiting for a county judge's green light to close Texas State Highway 4 for a launch, SpaceX can now handle those approvals internally. It's more efficient, more autonomous, and far more in line with their fast-paced, iterative launch philosophy. As Catherine Lutters, general manager of Starbase, explained, becoming a city helps SpaceX build the best community for the people building humanity's future in space. And with that kind of local control, Musk is already pushing for more. The FAA currently allows 5 launches per year from Starbase, but Elon is asking to increase that to 25 launches annually. That's 5 times the current limit. Now imagine what that means. More frequent launches, faster test cycles, and a smoother path to Starship version 3, the next-gen vehicle that will carry cargo, astronauts, and even entire habitats to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. And speaking of deep space ambitions, let's shift focus to a more recent update. At exactly 11:43 a.m. on Friday, SpaceX launched NASA's Crew 11 mission from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The 4 astronauts aboard are en route to the International Space Station, where they'll conduct a long-duration science expedition. Their spacecraft is set to autonomously dock with the station's Harmony module at around 3:00 a.m. on Saturday, August 2 ND. NASA Administrator Sean Duffy called this mission a pivotal step in humanity's return to the Moon. Crew 11 is helping to establish the kind of operational rhythm that NASA needs for Project Artemis, which is still on track for a crewed lunar mission in 2026. Duffy emphasized that winning the space race, this time the commercial one, isn't just about prestige. It's about national security, innovation leadership, and unlocking a multi-trillion-dollar industry that will shape the 21st century. But perhaps the most unexpected development came just after the Crew 11 launch. For the first time in nearly 7 years, the head of NASA met face-to-face with the leader of Roscosmos, Russia's space agency. Both attended the scrubbed launch due to weather delays, marking their first official in-person conversation since 2018. Roscosmos later released a statement saying they discussed collaboration on the ISS and potential future missions to the Moon and deep space. While no details were made public, it signals that even amid geopolitical tension, space remains a uniquely collaborative frontier. And there's more. Duffy also said he's in favor of extending the current seat swap agreement, which allows NASA astronauts to fly aboard Russian Soyuz rockets, in exchange for Russian cosmonauts flying aboard U.S. commercial spacecraft. This kind of redundancy is key. If something were to ground the Crew Dragon or Soyuz for any extended period, the swap ensures that at least one reliable ride to orbit is always available. It's a small detail, but one that reveals how fragile and interconnected the modern space ecosystem really is. So where does that leave us? Well, on the edge of a massive leap forward. SpaceX is firing on all cylinders. Starship Flight 10 is gearing up for one of the most important tests in its history. Starbase is now a city, and that means faster launches, more innovation, and fewer bureaucratic delays. Ship 38 is prepping for integration. Ship 39 is waiting in the wings, marking the dawn of the Block 3 generation. NASA is scaling up lunar ambitions. And even rivals are slowly re-entering conversations that could reshape space partnerships in the years to come. Now more than ever, it feels like we're on the cusp of something truly extraordinary. And you're here for all of it. So hit that like button if you believe in the future of space. Subscribe to the channel for weekly updates on SpaceX, Starship, and beyond. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a launch, a test fire, or a moment in history.